So we're halfway through the year, and today we're just going to recap some of the stats that have been happening and also some important announcements that were made here in Windsor Essex in regards to affordability.
So I'll start us off with, I think, the most exciting news segment that happened, which was that Royal Lepage did a report last month ranking Windsor Essex as number 11 in the most affordable cities across Canada. They looked at the top 15 cities across Canada and where that affordability lied, and Windsor Essex was ranked number 11. So we find this amazing, and you know what they do is they look at your overall income in hopes that you are not spending more than 30% of your household income on a mortgage to determine whether or not that's affordable or not. And yeah, Windsor Essex was ranked number 11. There's only 2 cities in all of Ontario, whether you're up in Thunder Bay or down in Windsor Essex. So I'd like to say stick with the sunny south and relocate here to Windsor Essex.
This report was shared over social media, and I think there was a lot of negative comments out there in regards to the report because it's hard to wrap your head around how is this still affordable, right? And I think it's important to note or to realize that what Windsor Essex has to offer is that you have the chance here to build equity in your home and also the chance to build that long-term wealth. And I think that's really everybody's goal. Obviously, everybody wants to have a house and a roof over their head. But here in Windsor Essex, you have the opportunity to purchase your own home, have your own backyard, and to build some long-term wealth. And so if you are thinking about relocating somewhere, we think Windsor Essex is the place to do it. And if you're looking for a local agent, we can set you up with one as well.
Affordability is like the conversation starter no matter where you go. Housing is also obviously a top priority for everyone. So this is a conversation that's happening across Canada. Windsor Essex actually dropped from 36% in the affordability factor to 28%. So it actually got even better for Windsor Essex from the point of 2024 till 2026, which we think is very positive. We know that people love Windsor Essex. We attended an event last month that was hosted by the Windsor Real Estate Board. They had Nick Nanos down who did a poll and talking to Windsor Essex people about how they feel about affordability or what they love in general. And we know that people love parks and recreation. They feel safe in Windsor Essex for the most part. They do want to see some redevelopment of our downtown core to hopefully continue the growth in that area. However, overall, they love Windsor Essex and they feel safe. The biggest factors of the negative side of what they're feeling is affordability. And how do we improve affordability across Windsor Essex, which is, in our hopes that the things that are happening right now in front of us that will give people the confidence to keep going. That's regarding, mortgage rates, but also development charges. We have development charges hopefully reducing, and if not, not continuing to increase and putting red tape in front of us at every area when we're trying to develop. We also have trade issues that are starting to potentially go in the direction that we want, especially with the bridge. And these are things that will hopefully give some people some positive insights to affordability to make it more accessible to more people.
And I think it's more than just about price too. I think it has to do with the lifestyle. I mean, Windsor Essex is in a great location. You have access to Detroit. You're in a border city here. You have employment. There's wineries, restaurants, schools, University of Windsor. So it's about lifestyle too.
We saw 476 sales in June. So we have continued to improve our sales from January, and that actually aligns with where we were last June. So July was the busiest month last year that we had for the last calendar year. So this is the busiest month we've seen since July of 2025. So we've continued to gradually improve, which is positive. And we have seen a slight decrease in our average sale price, but a lot of that has to do with the number of homes as to where they're selling, whether it's under $550 or over 550. Our activity has mostly been in the lower half of our market, so anything listed under 550,000, and it's slowed down significantly anything above 550. So the average sale price has come down, but nothing too dramatic. I think we're sitting in the 560,000 for our average sale price, which is a healthy average, given that some people are seeing some severe decreases in their average sale price. We aren't here, so that means that people feel confident to continue purchasing. We have more listings than we ever had. I don't think that's changing anytime soon. We don't have enough buyers to eat that inventory up, but it's good. It's good for people to have those choices and to be able to shop around and make the purchase that they actually want to, and that they're going to build that long-term equity, like Katherine had just mentioned, that they love the property that they purchased and they're not feeling as though they got cornered into something they're not going to love next week.
And as a seller, it's very important that if you want to sell your house, you have to make sure that it is priced appropriately. So get some guidance from a knowledgeable realtor and they can help you with that. But there's also a lot of overpriced listings, and those listings are not selling, they're sitting. So if you want your house to sell, it's important to list it appropriately.
We're still very much in a buyer's market, and that's been that way this entire year. So we're sitting, I think, around 36% for new listings versus what's actually selling. So that doesn't amount to all of the active listings we have today. It's only the new listings hitting the market. But with those new listings, our days on market have actually declined. So from the peak of our market, or from the beginning of the year where things were looking a little iffy, to the gradual incline that we've seen today, the days on market has also decreased, which is positive news. If you are listed appropriately, you may be able to move your house within that 26-day period, which is fabulous. You have a couple weeks on market and then a few weeks for conditional period. So I think that if you are listed right, you might be able to cross that finish line, which I think is very important to think about today. There's stuff coming out now because we're at the half end of the year, so people are predicting what's going to happen the last 6 months of the year. Some would suggest we might see a small increase, but in reality, we know the biggest problem is not buyers wanting to purchase something. It's buyers' urgency. They have no urgency to be able to actually get out there and put pen to paper, but they are looking at houses. And we see that even in our realtor.ca statistics, that people are looking at houses, they're favoriting houses, they're visiting them during open houses. Our open houses are busy. Showing, like in, private showings are even busy, but it isn't translating into an offer, because people are still so uncertain about what's happening, especially in Windsor Essex. And I can understand where their fear is, because there's still so many things left unknown. And their jobs may be impacted. There's many other things about affordability. Just in general, life is more expensive. So people have to be really certain as to the moves that they make to make sure they can afford it. And that's why that urgency isn't there. As we see the market improve and things around affordability improving, that's when we'll see people come back and start actually putting pen to paper.
So in terms of affordability, we do now have the green light for the HST rebate. So we've been talking a lot about that over the last couple of the months, because the government made an announcement about an HST rebate on all new homes if you are eligible. It is now law. I think they passed that sometime last week, in the last couple of weeks. So that is very positive news. If you purchase a brand new home and you have a signed agreement between April 1st, 2026 to March 31st, 2027, and you will be living in that home, then you would qualify for this HST rebate. There are some other criteria, but basically, in a nutshell, that's what it's all about. But the most important thing is that it is now law. The risk has been removed. So I think the last 6 months of the year will be busy because of that.
Any steps forward that we make to improve affordability improves accessibility for someone. So, the more affordable housing we have, whether it be rentals or whatever, we need to make sure that we actually have these housing starts happening, not stalling in the ways that we are now, because then we don't have when we have more of something, then obviously it becomes more affordable, which is what we want overall for Windsor Essex. So we love that there's active listings that give people choice today. And so yes, with this new HST rebate, I do really think it opens doors for people, and that's what we want. Thank you for joining us again for some market insights and some conversation about affordability. We hope the next 6 months brings us some exciting news, but we will see you next month in July to see what the summer months bring us. Thanks for tuning in.